Hey everybody, today we are at Devil's Fort State Park in Salem, South Carolina. Might sound a little devilish, but it's not. Anyway, we came to see the Coney Bells, and here's some brochures that they had out there at the kiosk. Anyway, we're gonna try to make it through the woods because, as you know, I am not a hiker. So as we make our way back, there's a little history behind the Oconee Bells. It was found by a man that never named them, then named by a man that could not find them, and named after a man that never saw them. So there's a little interesting history about that. I have wrote a blog about that a couple years ago on my travelingthesoutheast.com website, so you can go on there and read the whole history about that. But I might pepper some of it in on this video. We shall see. So now as we're walking through the woods, this is a downhill right now, so that means it's going to be uphill whenever I come back. This is a loop trail, but it's a little difficult for Mom to walk, so we're just going in on the supposedly easier side. But it's a little rough on me. So I'll probably be hugging these trees whenever we start climbing back up. Hopefully I won't get lost today because I've got Mom with me back there. So here's the wayside. It tells about the Coney Bells. It says they are a rare treasure. They used to not have this in the woods like this. You were on your own. You just had to walk the trail and hope for the best. Oh, I see them. There's a good cluster right there. So there they are. What we drove 4 hours for. What you think of them?
They're pretty.
Aren't they pretty?
Like I told you last time.
It's probably going to be the last time we ever walked it. And here we are again.
I don't know if I can do it again.
But we said we wasn't never going to do it again after that, but I wasn't making videos at that time, so this might be our last time coming to see them. So they've got this nice boardwalk here now, so you can actually come down and see the little Coney Bells down there. And they're so tiny, but they're actually looking really good today. So
That's pretty.
they are pretty. They're gorgeous. I think we caught them at a good time. Oh, there's some here. still recording? Oh, that's really pretty. So pretty through there.
We can go back that way.
Whatever you want to do. If you want to go back that way, we can go back that way. If not, we can keep on going this way, whichever. Anyway it goes, I'm be breathing hard because I cannot take heels. So whichever way we go, it's still going to be bad. And it's not that it's that high. We're just not mountain people. And this is like the mountains of South Carolina. I think I read somewhere that's only 6% of the state is mountains, but this is a part of it.
Keep breathing. Take your time. That's right. Take your time. Keep breathing.
So Mom has decided that she wants to go back up the hill. So I'm pretty sure I'll be huffing and puffing in a few seconds. I wish this whole thing was a boardwalk. It'd make it so much easier to walk through. But isn't that gorgeous? This is worth the trip just to come see them. So here's one last look at the flowers before I hopefully don't die going back up that hill. But anyway, I had to go back to my car. So then I can tell you the rest of the story about this place. Okay, so there's the Coney Bells one last time, and I hope you like my shirt if I haven't already showed it. Out of Breath Hiking Club. Oh my Lord. So Mom is already going up that hill, so I've got to go behind her because I don't want her to fall, but I don't want to die going up either. But anyway, we shall see. If I make it back to the parking lot, we'll know I survived this as well. So, as they say, let's do this. Yeah. You got two?
Yeah.
She's trekking.
It works.
Well, as long as it works, that's all that matters. We're stopping for a breather already. But that was just a steep climb. So,
What time are you showing?
well, I got to turn the camera around. Hold on. That's how high up it was. We were down there, and now we're up here. And as you can see, it just slopes on down. So Mom just wanted to point out, we just climbed up that hill right there as well, because we were down there at those trees. Now we're up here at these trees.
Look out there one day.
We got to get there in a few minutes.
I was just over this flat of ground. We don't have to move anymore, do we? Steep hills?
I think that might have been the worst of it right there.
I think so too. I think I'll leave my handicap foot motor made.
So now I think we're on a downward slope, so this is even better. Plus I can see the cars in the parking lot, so I think we shall live to see another day.
If I come back, I'm gonna have another walking thing like this. The one that fits on the wheel.
Oh, look at the trees over there. So one of the most hilarious things that we ever said was they used to have another trail here, and it's like bear may be present. And I'm like, what, doesn't say anything about the Oconee Bell Trail where I think bears may be present? Mom said, Donna, don't you think the bears can walk across the trails? And yes, they can.
They can't read.
But now that trail's closed because they're building something over there now. So that's a part of history. Okay, so we're in the car taking a breather from that walk. It was not all that bad today, so either I'm in better shape than what it was a couple of years ago, or either we just took our time. But anyway, the plant was first discovered in 1787 by Andre Michaud, and even though he found it, he never named it. So he was sent here by the government in France to see if he could find any plants that would be of value to France. And anyway, he just plucked some out the ground and he took them and he pressed them into the books or whatever they pressed them into over there. And 52 years later, it was Dr. Asa Gray who stumbled across them, and he saw that they were unnamed, so he named them in honor of Dr. Charles Short. And the official name of the Coney Bell is Shortia gallicifiosa. And I'm going to spell that for you just in case I'm not pronouncing it right. It's Shortia galaccifolia. And then the plants were not discovered again until 1877, nearly 90 years after Michaud originally found them. And they were just happened to be stumbled across by a young teenager at the time named George Hines. And he was on a field trip with his father along the Catawba River, and he came across them. And they sent them to Dr. Asa Gray, and he was happy because for the second time in his life he was holding the Oconee Bell, and it was something that he had named himself. And it says that he found out that he had been misled by Michaud's notes on the habitat of Shortia. The plant did not live in the high mountains, but rather along streams in the foothills region, and mainly in the Jocassee gorges. So today it can actually be found in a couple of places, but Devil's Fork State Park is one of the only places that you can see such a big, what would you call that? Array of them, and they're in abundance. And I have to say, I really do like that boardwalk through the woods now. I wish they had that a couple of years ago.
I wish they put it all the way through.
I do wish they'd put it all the way through.
And up them hills with the rail.
That would be nice. And I did like the rails now that you get whenever you're going down to them. So now we shall continue on, and I'll have some more notes about this place at the end, because this actually has a really interesting history behind why it's named Jocassee and all that. So I'll do my little notes edition at the end. But since we had a moment of time while we were catching our breath, we decided to do the cliff notes. So this up here is where the villas are at, and these are really, really nice to stay in. So So here's some of the villas, and we've actually stayed in here 2 times. I highly, highly have to recommend staying here. This is probably my favorite cabins, or villas, whatever you want to call them, in all of the state park service. And they have 2 different sizes. They've got the smaller ones and the larger ones, so they do cost different amounts to rent. And we have stayed in number 7 right there before, and we've also stayed in number 8, which is a handicap accessible one. Yes, they have 20 villas here. And I think during the busy season, you have to rent them for 7 nights. So, do like I do, stay in the off season. They also do boat tours here. We have never done that, but we have heard that is one of the things that you absolutely need to do. And they take you out to see all the waterfalls that's hidden away back there. So back here is the day use area for the people that's gonna have like kayaks and non-motorized boats. Just look how clear that water is. Oh. It's so beautiful. So that's a map of Lake Jocassee right there. And it shows the freshwater fish here. And they've got a nice little picnic area down here. And that right there is the bathroom if you need to use it while you're back here. You can come down here and have picnics and all that good stuff. And that lets you know that it is unlawful to obstruct any pier, dock, wharf, or anything else. Oh, it's so pretty. You can just see the water right there. It's so clear. So this over here is where the boat ramps would go in for the boats that have gas in them. And as you can see, it's a beautiful view over here. know how far down I'm gonna go because I got to come back up if I go down. So this might be as far as I go on this one. I think it will because that's steep. Anyway, that gives you the general idea of how this side looks. So, coming into view now is the campground. Which way? It says one way, so I guess you just, that says do not enter. So I guess you go straight. And that tells about Jocassee Town. It was one of several Cherokee lower towns in what is now South Carolina. It was located about 2 miles east on the Jocassee River and in the Vale of Jocassee near the modern Jocassee Dam. The town, like any other Cherokee lower towns, was abandoned and resettled several times during the period from 1750 to 1800. The town site and valley were covered by Lake Jocassee in 1973. And if you choose to do so, they have canoe rentals or kayak rentals, whatever you want to call them, paddle boards. And also see how clear the water is over here. And also from over here you can see the villas. Must be a peach tree. It looks like peach blooms. Oh, so pretty. Oh, there comes a butterfly again. So before we leave, we're back over here at the visitor center ranger station. This is where you come in and check in if you're going camping or anything. And this beautiful tree up here is the Holcomb hemlock. And that was planted by the family that lived here, and it was beside their house, from my understanding, before the lake was established in 1973. And those are the bathrooms right there. And this is the ranger station. That's a beautiful piece of artwork up there. And this over here is a little area where you can see the Coney Bells a little bit better if you can't walk the whole trail. Which is probably what we should have done, but we did not do so. What would have been the excitement in that? Okay, so now we're going to wrap up the video at Devil's Fork State Park in Salem, South Carolina. All the information I'm getting ready to tell you pretty much came off of wikipedia.com. So here we go. It's located 3 miles off of Cherokee Scenic Highway 11. And I highly suggest you do that route if you can. It's absolutely gorgeous. And a lot of the South Carolina state parks are on that highway. So if you are trying to become an ultimate outsider, that's a tip for you. Do them all in line. And anyway, this is the home of the man-made Lake Jocassee, and that's popular for scuba diving. And an interesting fact about that, there is a town underneath the lake out there, because in 1973, Duke Energy flooded the valley that was out there. And I did read last night that over time, since it was flooded so slowly, that's why a lot of the stuff out there is preserved. So there is a lodge underneath the water. There's Mount Carmel Baptist Church Cemetery is underneath the water, and that was actually used in the movie Deliverance with Burt Reynolds. Anyway, it's very popular for scuba divers. I don't know if I've already said that, but that's how people actually go down there and they take all these videos of the stuff that's still down there. They have a lot of beautiful waterfalls out there, but they're only accessible by boat. I have never seen them. That's on my bucket list to do as well. Maybe one day we'll get out there and see all the waterfalls. I think it's like $55 for them to take you out the Jocassee tours. I think it's worth the money because $55 is cheaper than buying a boat. Anyway, this is also home to the Oconee Bell, which I showed you earlier in the video. And it says the Oconee Bells are found in the southern Appalachian Mountains. They are mainly found in North Carolina and South Carolina, but now they're starting to be found other places as well. They usually appear at Devil's Fork State Park from around mid-March to early April. That's whenever the conditions are right. And Devil's Fork actually holds a Bell Fest every single year. And it's usually, I think, around St. Patrick's Day weekend or whatever, around the middle of March. And this particular state park came to be in the early 1990s, because after the thing was flooded way back in the day, I told you about the Holcombs over there. Everything back here is basically Holcomb this and Holcomb that. So I'm guessing they must have owned this property, maybe where the state park's at. Can't find any information about that, but I'm guessing that's what it was, because from what I'm reading, where that tree is located over there that I told you about earlier, their house must have been right beside it, because they planted it after or either in 1973. But it's a huge tree. It's a beautiful tree. And let's see what else. So the name Jocassee means place of the lost one. and it is derived from an old Cherokee folk tale, and it was named in honor of a sad love story, and it's between rivals, I guess tribes in the Cherokees. They had the Greenberg warrior Noguchi. He was not afraid to enter the brown viper's hunting grounds, and he fell and broke his leg. I can understand why, because the place is wet around here. And he thought he was going to die, but the brown viper's chief, it was his daughter Jocassee, she nursed him back to health, and she fell in love with him. And anyway, later on, this is where it gets really sad. Her brother went and beheaded him in battle, and then he brought his head back to her on a belt. So it goes that the legend was that Jocassee was so devastated by this that it looks like she was just walking across the water to her ghost of her beloved. So obviously if she was walking across the water, she drowned. So that's how that whole story came about. And so never forget. Okay, I'm gonna start this over again. So never forget, and I think this quote is from Patrick McMillan. So he's from Clemson University, and he's a really good botanical garden botanist, whatever. He knows all of the names of the plants and everything. He's just a genius. We met him one time. But anyway, I think this is his quote. If not, I read somewhere that it's his quote. But it was found by a man who never named it, named for a man that never saw it, by the man who couldn't find it. So that is what we always need to remember about the Coney Bell. It's just a beautiful little flower out there that's kind of hard to find. And I also heard somewhere, where it's in abundance here, it's still rare, because it's rare in everywhere else in the world. So just because we have it here does not mean they have it everywhere else. So that is why we do not need to take the flower. We need to leave the flower where it's at, because probably it's not going to grow other places anyway. So you don't need one for your collection. Just leave it out here in the woods for everybody to enjoy. And I think that's pretty much going to do it for this video. So did you have a good day?
Yeah.
Was it worth the 4-hour drive up here?
Yeah, I made it up the hill.
I think it was. We did not give out a breath too hard today. I think it was an overall good day. So, with that, we're leaving. And thanks for watching the video. I say this all the time, but if you made it this far, thanks for watching. And have a good day. And bye.
Give it a thumbs up.
She wants to give it a thumbs up, but you can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Preferably a thumbs up,
Tell
though.
everybody to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to my channel, because Mom lets everybody know that I have a YouTube channel called Traveling the Southeast. I think she's kind of proud of it. I need to get her a t-shirt to wear so she can advertise for me.
I got you one.
She did give me a shirt for Christmas. I wear it. And my BFF gave me a shirt for Christmas that I wear also. So I need to get me a logo. I've already got one kind of planned out. I just got to bring it to life, or find somebody who can bring it to life, because, you know, I'm not talented in that area, but I know what I want. So anyway, once again, we shall say bye. So bye.
Bye.